Is it okay if I do the same?
Of course.
Cool. So
Yeah,
what's
so
up?
I'm Rob, Effortless Being. Takes no effort to be. That's my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of your videos.
Yeah. What resonated?
Just the state of being, the journey, the apparent journey. And
Okay.
then it's cool that you're helping people make books. I always feel, you talk about invitations, so I was like, maybe he can help me make my book or manifest, some ideas.
Yeah,
Or
sure.
just, we can resonate on a vibrational level.
Love that. I love talking on vibration. I love vibration, frequency, vibration, all that kind of stuff's cool. Well, what is your idea for a book? You said you had a book idea?
Yeah, well, I mean, long ago I had like a generic spiritual book idea. What was it gonna be called? Like, read this book. Who cares? I'm not passionate about that anymore.
Okay.
But basically, for me, I think I was early on. I don't think there's a free will, and I found all these logical entry points to that. But right now, I just want to make some fiction. Honestly, I just want to make some comic books and
That sounds cool.
make a video game and whatever IP. It's just for fun and games.
Well, that sounds like fun. So where are you at in terms of self-realization?
I don't know. Maybe I'm self-realized, or maybe there's no such thing.
Yeah. How do you know?
It, if you have an external authority, then you depend on them to tell you, right?
What
I
if you're
don't know.
what if you're self-sufficient, you just and there's just like a knowingness, like you just know automatically. Like you don't have to guess, like you don't have to say, well, am I self-realized or am I not? And then there's the question of who's the I that's saying, am I self-realized? Then that needs to be looked at.
How so?
Well, I mean, if you just go into your direct experience, like what's right here, right now, that's all anyone really ever has. We only have like our direct experience. So, I mean, there's all these things out there, people telling you, are you this? Are you that? This conditioning from the world, the way that we're brought up. But how do we really know, what we truly are? And the only way to know that is to just go into our direct experience. So, what's right here, right now? Like, if we just drop all of our thoughts, all of our conditioning, everything that we've been raised to believe, if we just wipe it out and just throw it out the window, just let it all go. Any past projections, anything that happened in the past, anything that we think we're going to do in the future, just wipe it out and just come like right here, right now. Just drop into this space of presence that we're at right here. Can you do that? Can you just drop right into this space and just become open and empty?
Hypothetically, like to me, it seems conceptual, and I follow the concept train. But I don't know. Is it really a journey from somewhere to here? Because it's here to here, right?
Yeah, it's really non-conceptual awareness is what it is. So if I erase the commentator, if I erase the observer, what's really here? I mean, what's your direct experience? Like, what's really here? Like, if I take away language,
Right.
if I turn a language to Chinese or Japanese, which I don't know any of those languages, I'm just picking a language just to make the point that if I were to change the dialogue, if I were to change the language, what's this?
Well, we can't say without language.
But isn't there like where the silence speaks, almost like the stillness or this field of beingness, of consciousness that we sense, this aliveness that we hear? Doesn't it like speak in its own way, not with language, but just with
Maybe seems that way.
what do you feel?
But I feel like that might be very subtle language, like the universe is poetry and it expresses itself a certain way. But
It's almost like vibration, right? Or frequency, like we opened up the call with. You sense that vibration or that frequency. I mean, there's different, when you look at the emotional scale, a lot of people talk about the emotional scale. I don't know how familiar you are with the emotional scale. Like, like on the lower levels, you got like, depression, sadness, that kind of stuff. Then it slowly, gives rise to like contentment. And you get into some of the higher emotions, which we love, right? Like joyfulness, ecstasy, bliss, those kind of emotions is where a lot of people want to be on like that fun
mhm.
frequency. They like to stay there. But in the human experience, it just seems like, it fluctuates so much. And
Yep.
a lot of it has to do like with our beliefs and how we were raised and things that we believe. And it's almost like we've been conditioned that we're this separate person and we have like all of these limitations and that we're broken and that we have to be fixed. But what if that wasn't true? What if all of that was inverted and we're really the pristine, infinite being, that we're whole and we're complete and we have everything and we're full
That'd
and
be great.
everything that we're expressing is from abundance and joy and bliss, and everything that's coming forth into the manifestation is because that is what we know or what we truly are is our true nature. Can you imagine what the world would be like?
I mean, heaven on earth or paradise, utopia.
And that's what it feels like. This is my direct experience
Mm.
is I feel like this is heaven on earth right here, right now. And we're just missing it because people have been conditioned to believe that they're incomplete, that they're not whole, that they're broken, that society has conditioned them that way. But everyone could wake up right now. When I say wake up, I mean just identify with what you truly are as the pristine, effortless being. It takes no effort just to be. And when you're in this space of effortless being, there's no striving, there's no effort. There's a relaxation, like everything's relaxed and almost like everything's taken care of for you and everything comes to you automatically. It's almost like it's being attracted to you automatically and it's here doing its dance just for you at your command.
At my command.
Yes.
Really?
Well, I mean, if you're on the frequency, think about it. Like whenever you're on the frequency of fun or joy, what tends to manifest, what tends to be mirrored out into the world is usually what your frequency is. So, like if you're on the frequency of fun and joyful, that tends to be what how the universe like orchestrates what your life experiences can be. So it's almost like you can kind of intentionally play, almost like a play with it, play with the universe a little bit and bring about the life experience that you want. It's almost like you're empowered. It's like previous to self-realization, it was almost like I felt like I was like the victim. You know what I mean? Like victim consciousness, like everything was happening to Rob. You know, everything's happening to me. And I always felt like the victim. And then when I learned, well, wait a second. Okay, it's not like that. You can actually be empowered and create the reality that you want. You know, and then I remember the first book that came out. I don't know if you heard of this, but The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. You familiar with that book at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So where
I
you
haven't
can,
read it, but I'm
yeah.
familiar with like Abraham Hicks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, cool. I just got off a cruise ship.
Bashar.
Yeah, Brashar. Yeah,
Hmm.
I just got off a cruise. We were out in Miami. We went out and did a cruise with Abraham Hicks for a whole week. And I was out there, and I know a lot of people in that community. I mean, you've probably seen my YouTube channel. I interview a lot of
Hmm.
them and stuff like that. And so, you know, we were just there with Abraham and manifesting. Basically, just so the audience knows. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what Abraham is. Just I don't know, just so the audience understands or what your understanding of it is.
Um, yeah, they seem to be some extemporaneous entity. I mean, it's difficult to define the physicality of such a being, but whether or not they exist out there or not, the information is a channel to empower people as to how to change their quote unquote internal vibration to navigate the infinite fluctuations of being.
That's a great description. How long have you been listening to Abraham Hicks?
I don't really listen anymore. That was like
Okay.
a long time ago. A long time ago.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
what's your spiritual journey?
Uh, it's so difficult to like say every single step, right? But yeah, I don't know. I've just always been into mysticism, and I guess I'm on like a if I'm on a path, a yogic meditation type path, everything kind of intersects. So, like I was interested in they call it the perennial philosophy, like how, east, west, north, south, wherever you come from, like if it's true, they're all just coming towards the same place from infinite different angles, like, wherever you want on earth or time and space or biology, DNA, whatever.
That's kind of cool. So where are you at now? Like with like if
Where
somebody
I'm at
said,
now. So yeah, the culmination or the it's kind of like the inverse of that, right? It's like breaking everything apart to see that it wasn't what we thought it was. Like the mind can only go so far, and it seems at some point you have to somehow be disinterested in what the mind is trying to tell you.
yeah,
It's
when you
always
say
saying,
the
"Oh, life
when
is like this," but
you,
it's not really like that. It could be like that if you want to feel that way, like it feel that way, but it's not actually like that.
but what is it actually? What is the nature of reality? What is reality?
Okay, I might be wrong. It feels like it's just this, right? That's what it seems to be saying, that it's the absolute, the supreme is only evidential circumstance, consciousness, if you want to use that word, but
Yeah.
it has baggage. But I like being
You like what?
effortless, you know?
Effortless being, you like, yeah.
I like being for sure, and it seems to be effortless because it's here before we know about it.
Yeah, that's how I kind of come up with that with the channel name Effortless Being because to me, reality felt like we were just being, like we're all just this one being that's just being right here, and it's just this. There's nothing else. It's just this, and it takes no effort just to be. It's so we're the beingness only, and then I find when there's effort that I put forth, and it's kind of like I'm getting away from the beingness. Then I find that I'm up in the story, I'm up in the mind and the stories of the mind. And it's almost like I'm separating myself from the
But isn't
being.
that just a story of you?
That's a
Like the
story
stories of
too.
the mind is a
Yeah.
story of self.
Yeah, you're right. That's just another
And we don't
story.
create that story, I don't think. Maybe there's like a audience participation, like, oh man, this movie is good, this TV show is good, but maybe that's just the story itself as well.
Yeah, that could just be a story. You're
I don't know.
right. Everything is just a story beyond just this. And I don't even think like what this is can even be described. Like, and I'm okay with not knowing what this
Hmm.
is. It's okay. There's like
Some people have
a
good
piece.
descriptions, apt poetic descriptions, but it's like
Yeah.
very like key words. Like it's almost like a different science. You have to find these words that like all pervading, or I don't know. It can sound kind of, I don't know what to say.
I mean, they say different words. Like people will point to it, say like, this is consciousness or this is awareness or self-realization or the space of beingness or the field. There's different terms that people use to point to what this is. So it's almost like a pointer, like you're pointing to it, but everyone needs to check in their own experience to see like, what is this in my own experience that's being pointed to? That's like the whole object of the actual pointer. But then once you got the pointer, it's almost like you
Hmm.
got to drop the pointer because now the pointer doesn't make sense anymore because really the whole use of the pointer was just try to get you to look in your own experience to see what this really is. It's almost like a seeing of what it is, and then once you see what it is, the pointer just evaporates and
Hmm.
drops away.
But it seems to me, even though you see what it is, it don't change what it is. So you still feel like what you were before because you are what you were before.
Yeah, it's almost like you've misidentified with it. It's like always been just this. It's just that I called it a name. I said, well, this is Rob. And then I made up this story. Oh, I went to high school here, I went to college there, played football. I like ice cream, I like pizza, I don't like broccoli, that kind of thing. And it's almost like it was a story, but the whole time it's always just been this. I just called it Rob, but it's always just been this. So it's almost like a case of misidentification is kind of like what I'm
Hmm.
sensing, what in my direct experience anyway.
Yeah. Like on the yogic path, it seems on at a certain step, you need to realize that it's not a small identity, it's an identification with everything. But then you don't need to assert that as an identity because that's just the assertion is in time. So it's just a story in time. And if you zoom out, well, you don't really zoom out, but conceptually, if we zoom out, we see that it is what it is, whether stories there or not, it is that which creates stories.
It's like
It can
there's
create any story,
yeah, you can
hypothetically.
make up any story you want. But the bottom line is there really is no time if you ever think about it. Like there's not really time.
It's a tough one.
The time that's taking place is really in the story. There
Yeah.
can only be time is if you're going to separate yourself from the beingness and make up a story in the mind. But even if you're doing that, like when are you telling the story or when are you remembering the story? It's always right now that you're doing that, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep. So there's only this eternal moment that's
But it feels
here.
like, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be interrupted because I feel like we're
No,
homies
I like
already.
it.
So I could just,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
good.
what was I going to say? Oh yeah, it can be like fighting fire with fire. Like, oh, I'm having a bad story, so now I want to tell myself a good story. But that's like a Chinese finger trap, isn't it? Well, I don't know, but it feels like you're just stuck in stories. And if I am on a path, then I want to be away from stories a little bit. But life is a story, like the universe, right? Time, space. But we're here saying there's no time, no space to a degree. But do we need to live in that? Because it's already, I don't know, it's paradoxical. So.
Yeah, it is a lot of this is paradoxical that we're talking about, but it's almost like I just come to realization, well, I'm the infinite being, and we're all the one infinite being. I'm not
Hmm.
better than anybody else. We're all equal. We're all that. Like I see you as the infinite being. I see you as myself, actually, is the way I experience it,
Hmm.
is the consciousness that's in you.
Directly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like
I'm
I can
just
just
color
like,
in your field. So,
yeah,
and sound in your hearing field.
yeah, it's all happening in this space of beingness. It's all like
Hmm.
unity consciousness, but I don't see any separation.
That's dope. Want that, bro? Because I still do. Like conceptually, I'm there, but experientially, like maybe there is a feeling of separation, and I hope that disappears. But I think I had to accept that I don't need to hold. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
let go of it, and hopefully it'll happen. But if not, I'm fine anyway.
yeah, you're fine just where you're at. I mean, your intuition has gotten you to this point where you are where you're at right now, which is fine. And
Intuition and the
you're
help of friends.
yeah, the intuition is like that inner dialogue or that inner knowingness, that inner being that's leading you, navigating you in this world almost like a GPS system. And look what it's doing for you. You're at this place now where, I mean, just talking to you, I can tell that you're very self-realized. That you are self-realized, actually. Did you know that?
Maybe.
There's like
I feel like when you say you got it, that's when you're gonna lose it. So I don't want to say, you know what I mean?
well, this can't be lost because it's always been here. And we talked about
Hmm.
that at the beginning. It's like
Yep.
it's only just this space of beingness, this aliveness that we are. I mean, that's all it really is. I think sometimes we overcomplicate it, and a lot of people do. Like they think like, this self-realization thing has to be something that's like so special or only a few.
It's the end of specialness. Nothing
Yes,
special. Yeah.
exactly. There's nothing special in that. It's ordinary. It's actually closer than your breath. It's what everyone is right here in this moment. It's just that they're overlooking it or they're just believing the story of the mind saying something different than what this is.
I had to train in a lot of good stories to get here, bro. Like, I don't know. I'll live the story until the story changes.
And there's nothing wrong with the story either. Like it can be fun to be in the story too. Like it's
The
almost
show,
like I see like
if you
Rob,
win
this
it.
character. Yeah. The Rob, this character dancing around in the movie. He's actually a funny character. He likes to go out, have fun. He
Oh
he
yeah, no, I
falls
love
off
my
his
character.
bike.
He dope.
He's like falling down, like, oh, how cute, how adorable. Look at
Yeah.
Rob. Like,
Oh, you
like
tripping off that? Damn.
so it's like a loving thing. Like it's not like nothing serious going on. It's like,
We are like our own baby. We had to be our own father and mother.
yes, exactly. Yeah, you got it. That's exactly how I experience it. Sounds like we're similar in some of the way that we're experiencing reality.
Gotta be.
I mean, why else would we resonate and even be on a call? There must be something that's resonating here, some
Hmm.
energy, some frequency, something,
Yeah, yeah.
something coming in this field of beingness that's here that wants to express.
But they just call it satsang, right? Like we just appreciate this vibration. Like it's a hobby almost, and it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. So have you done this before?
But this kind of thing, like
Yeah.
a Zoom call with my good friend Max. He has a channel on YouTube, but he just does music stuff, so I won't name drop him further. But he introduced me to non-duality like 10, 12 years ago. And then I was chasing teachers down and I honestly would still love to meet anyone.
Yeah.
But eh, I did a call with Emerson like a month ago and he's dope. And
Yeah.
but I was so tired in the moment. I was just high and tired and I was so I don't know. Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah.
What's that?
Emerson's funny. Is like he's very good. Like at the pointings though. Like he'd be like, okay, let's you know, erase the commentator, erase that, erase the experiencer. You know, what's here? You know, what's between thoughts and no thoughts? I mean, the pointers are just very, very
Hmm.
direct, very good.
Oh, the in between. You just say in between and be like
Yeah,
neutrality.
yeah, right. Neutrality, right? Boom. That's it. He's very direct. It's very clear. So those pointers are very clear. It's easy for someone to see that if they're open to it and ready for it. So non-duality, yeah, that's a whole interesting thing too. Even sometimes when I use the
Hmm.
word non-duality with people, if you look at my channel and I'm talking to people, a lot of times I'll ask them that. It's like, hey, what are your thoughts on non-duality? I just had right before you called, I just had another interview I did with another gentleman out of South Africa. He'd done a lot of spirituality and things like that. And so I asked him about non-duality. I said, non-duality, what's this non-duality thing that, And he was like, well, Rob, I really don't like to use the word because sometimes it's like loaded language with non-duality. Because like he was like, sometimes people will go to radical non-duality rather than non-duality. You know what I mean by that? Like radical non, like some people label it like radical non-duality rather than non-duality. You know what I'm getting at there?
Yeah, it's when they want to stand firmly in one logical ideation, one conceptualization of what reality is. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I don't either. It's just another way to look at it. And I
Yeah.
think that, and he was even saying in the interview, like you'll hear it. I just did it, but I still got to edit it and do all, load it up and everything. But even on there, he was like, yeah, there's a time for radical non-duality where people need to understand, hey, you're not the person. And sometimes that's what's needed for someone to see that in reality. Because for so long, I mean, since the age of 2 and even, maybe even younger, we've been conditioned to believe that we're this separate person with these limitations. We really believe it. And it's like really eye-opening, like when you come to that realization, wait a second, I'm not a person. Like when I saw that for the first time, I was like, why? Because my whole life I was trained that
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know about you, but that's the way it went for me. And so when I saw that, it was just like, what? Like, and I started to laugh. I'm like, I can't believe I believe that.
Yeah.
It's always just been this, but I've been so conditioned that I'm this separate person. And a lot of the mental suffering I was having was because I had these limited beliefs.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's almost like you could kind of wipe out a lot of people's mental suffering just when they see through that. If you have them check in their direct experience, just like the exercise I did with you earlier, if you just drop everything, the thoughts that you have about yourself and what you believe about yourself, what you've been conditioned, if you can just come right here in the moment, because the mind likes to take you out off on a story and a tangent, but if you can just put the mind over here, the thoughts, and just set it to the side and just come right here, like drop down and just become present to be what's right here, right now, and just, lightly take a look and just get curious about like what this is. What is this? What is
That's
this
a
that's
key.
here? Yeah.
Being
What is this
curious
that's
about experience.
yeah, just be curious about this experience that's right here. Like what's really happening here? Like what is this awakeness or this feeling of aliveness or this space or this consciousness or what is this that's here? Like what is it? And just kind of get curious about it. And then when I get curious about it, then I started asking questions about it. So what is this stillness, this beingness that's here? Can it get sick? And I just kind of just, pause and can it die? Does it have any problems? Can it get depressed? Is it worried about, what it's going to eat? I don't know. Is it worried about going to work tomorrow and doing my job? Like, I don't know. When I check with that stillness, that beingness,
Hmm.
it just seems like it's whole, it's complete, it's impersonal. It's just not worried about those things. And it's like, was it ever born? Did it ever die? Will it ever die? Like, it's almost like your intuition knows, like, I don't have to say the answers. You can just experience it in your own beingness, in your own reality to see what that answer is. And that, to me, that was a real eye opener to see that. Like, it was just like, a wow, like, how do I automatically sense that or know that, you know? But meanwhile, the whole conditioning, since I was a little boy till now was telling me this whole other story of limitation and suffering and all that. And now when I just, check in my own direct experience and I just come right here now and check this reality, you know, I'm seeing something totally different. That resonate at all? Any of that say anything to you?
Yeah. It's tough to know what you're looking at. I follow one teacher. He passed away, Peter Brown, and he says just look at it.
Yeah.
Back to spinning stories. No need to spin stories, or you can because the story is it, but just look at it. Just feel it out. I don't know.
See it as a story,
I
maybe.
used to think that it was about like silence, and I would look for the space between the words, and I got pretty good at having no mind for a long time, but that's actually not it at all. Like it is the mind, so you don't have to fight.
Yeah, just I think when you give up and you just let the mind do its thing. What I like to do with the mind is like to give it like a chore. I'll be like, okay, can you write me a grocery list and write me a presentation for work tomorrow? And then I just, just relax here in my presence, my beingness. And it's like the mind like wants something to do. It's a tool. I mean, it's a good tool.
Hmm.
You can use it to, get things done and stuff like that, but it's not what you are. The essence of what you are is
No,
this.
it appears to us because the most evidential part of that is when it gives you a fucked up thought that you didn't consent to, that is just wrong and it's not part of your, vibrational field. It feels like, nah, that's not true to me. So why are you here? But you just let it be because everything, as soon as it arises, has already changed.
Yeah, it's almost like it comes up in this space of beingness. It's like almost like there's just the permanent and then there's the impermanent, and the thoughts are like the impermanent. They come up almost like you're the infinite ocean, and it's like a wave on top, and it's like coming up like with its thoughts, and then it collapses back into the ocean. But we're all the one ocean. It's just that it's just doing this little thing, and then it crashes. So it's just a thought. It's not personal. It's just coming up into this space of beingness. It's really no big deal. You
I
can
look at it like it's a matrix of infinite possibility. So
love
it'll
that.
just, yeah,
Love that. Now that resonates with me. What you just said. Say it again.
it's a matrix of infinite possibility.
Yes, infinite possibilities. It really is. The field is that.
And when people fight it, it's because they want a specific finite version for like we just fix this shit this way, and now it doesn't have to evolve and grow from this point. But that's wrong.
Yeah, it's almost like it limits you. Like, why
Or
be
maybe
limited?
it is possible. Who knows? But
Maybe
yeah.
they just want to have that life experience. I mean, that's the only thing only conclusion I can come to is maybe you want a limited life experience. We're so free, we could choose a limited life experience if that's what we want. I almost look at it as like invitations to a ride. It's like we're at this big amusement park and we have the invitation. We can go on the depression party, the
Mhm.
sadness party, or we can go on the fun party or the joyful party or the party party.
We already took an invitation. We're on the human party.
Yeah, I love that. That was the best thing I heard in a while. Yeah, we did. We took the invitation. We decided to take the human being party. So now we're here as
Have
these.
you looked into like NDEs at all, near death experiences?
I've heard some people talking about it, but no, say more about it. What's open for
My
you?
homie just put me on the same one I mentioned earlier, and it's
Yeah.
just interesting. Like people experience well, it's very archetypical. Like there's common themes that everyone experiences, seemingly 85% of people.
Mhm.
Um, Statistics are bullshit though. But you have like a life what do they call it? Review, a life review. And I don't want to do too much speculation because you can go to those who've had their own accounts.
Right.
But that we really do actually consent to this life experience and maybe to some extent plan it out before we incarnate.
Yeah.
And because no matter how much stress or pain, anguish you endure in this time span, you're eventually released and you feel all of God's infinite love. So like, there's nothing to worry about. And according to the yogis, that's present all times. So pay attention. Like,
Yeah, I like that with the near-death experiences because people that have, maybe they got in a car accident, they're ready, and they've had an experience where they actually died and came back to life. I've heard of that, and it seems like a lot of them say similar things. Have you noticed that too?
oh yeah, no, there's a channel. There's one that I really liked. I think it was called. I don't want to misquote it, but if you just search NDE on YouTube,
Yeah,
you will
find a lot
find
of
this
stuff.
one's called The Other Side NDE, I think. I hope
Oh,
so.
okay.
But they have like 40, 50, 300 accounts maybe. Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
ever
The
heard
Other Side
the
NDE. I love it.
yeah, I should check that
It's
out.
very affirming because everyone like it's a common theme of, oh, I was a stressed out shitty person and then I had to endure all the pain I inflicted on others. I had to witness it from their angle, and because to some people I guess that's how you learn empathy, and hearing it from them definitely helped me be slightly less shitty. And
Sounds like karma almost, like what you're saying.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it almost sounds like it could be like a karma thing going on. But I mean, have you ever heard the term die before you die?
yeah, yeah. Well,
That
that's a like part and parcel of this Zen Tao yoga thing.
yeah, it's
I
almost
think.
like you're dying to this believing that you are a separate person with this story and its limitations. So you die to that, and then you just kind of realize that, oh wait, I've always been this space of beingness that's whole and complete, the whole time. And so they say die before you die in the sense that you don't have to wait till you croak, to realize what you truly are. You can almost be awake in this. human experience and experience it from an awakeness of knowing what you truly are, which totally changes the nature of the human experience when you're coming from that space. So it's almost like you can be intentional, with the nature of experience that you're having. It's almost like this experience is happening automatically because from what I've seen in my direct experience, there's no doer here. I don't see a person doing it. It's just what's happening. And it's almost like it's an automatic thing. Have you sensed that?
Oh yeah. But it goes back to when I said you have thoughts that you don't agree with. Oh, why? I didn't choose those.
Yeah.
And but anything like if you look into just movement occurs before we're aware of it.
It's almost like the mind comes in after it and comments about what
Yeah.
just happened. It's almost like it's late to the party. It feels
One
like somebody,
tradition
yeah,
that I was researching, I don't know how fruitful it was for my practice, but they say like immediately following every physical sensation, there's a mental reflection that like it just like the waves, like a wave arises after, and it's always like commenting or reflecting or remembering. And it seems to me in people like yourself who definitely don't feel like a what would you call it, like a separate individualized localized self, they don't
yeah.
have so much of that mental reflecting going on anymore.
Yeah, I
I think
used to have
that's
that, but yeah, I don't anymore because I used to feel like Rob was here and the world was out there. That's dropped. Now it's just this space of beingness, and also like all the images and the feelings and the emotions and the thoughts are all arising in this field of beingness, this impersonal field of beingness that I am. So everything's happening, within me, and it's coming and it's
hmm
going, and it's collapsing within me, but I'm never touched by any of it. The infinite being is never harmed or touched by any of the human experience. It's almost like you ever heard of the five bodies, where they talk about,
locus. I've heard you
yeah,
talk about it only.
yeah, like the body of bliss. Like you, first of all, you remain as the attributeless being, and then from there you go into the body of bliss, where there's awareness of the bliss body of just being in bliss, and then from there, you can go into effortless being, or what they call the body of wisdom, which is effortless being, where everything's just arising effortlessly in the beingness, that's you. So it's all impersonal. It's all still unity consciousness. It's all you're experiencing everything as one. But then what happens is when you get into the mental body where you're identifying with being the thoughts, that's where it becomes dualistic and you're separated. It's almost like I'm
Well,
here.
the thoughts created image of a separate self. To me,
Yes.
that seems what it is. It's
No,
saying,
you're
"Hey,
right
I'm a
on.
person," and it arises in a moment, and it really makes you believe you're that person, and then it
Yeah.
goes away. And I think normally people just have that arising maybe multiple times a second, and so that's why they really feel like they're that person.
Yeah, because it
But as
happens so
when you
fast,
pay
right? It's
attention,
so
yeah,
yeah, in reality though, it's all fresh. Everything's anew,
yeah,
fresh, fresh, fresh. But it just seems like it's a continuum. It seems like the mind and the thoughts are saying that there's this separate person and you're identifying with being the separate person. But then if you can just see the space, even for a second or two, like it lets up. It's like, whoa, no, everything's whole and complete. It's just that the mind is automatically identifying with the thoughts in being the separate person and being the story. But if there can be just some space there that people can
it's just
see.
painting paintings. It's an artist, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to say it. I love that. That's a great way to illustrate what's going on.
It makes it's an auteur filmmaker, and you don't understand it's avant-garde shit.
I love it.
Like it's like horror movies. He loves horror movies. Like, you ready?
Yeah, it's entertainment.
Yeah. Sam Raimi.
Hmm.
But we're artists too, so we can grab the paintbrush and change the scenery. You can paint over something that's already painted. That's
Sure.
your freedom.
Yep. Just so free you can do that.
So let's paint a better world, I guess. But it
Sure.
happens effortlessly, right? Because there's an intelligence that's so much greater than what we think we are. But yet
Exactly.
that is what we think we are. So
Yeah. There's an intelligence happening behind the scenes that's
yeah.
orchestrating everything. So we get to just effortlessly just breathe, relax. There's nothing serious going on. All is well.
Fortunately, woosah.
Mhm.
You're so locked into the stillness, bro. It's amazing.
I love it. I just can marinate in the stillness, the
Yeah.
presence. It's just peaceful, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's almost like it takes energy to come out of
You
it.
gain a
It's like,
taste for it almost.
yeah, it's just like, wow.
I
I do
think
this
it's
a lot.
people are so like alcoholic to the mind. They're like, I love how this feels and tastes. And then after a while, like you can gain a appreciation for the opposite.
Yeah, it's perfectly said. It's like I must,
Who
I
said
mean,
that?
yeah, I don't know. Is there someone here that said that?
I was gonna ask you about your story, but I'm sure it's in these other videos.
Yeah, there's lots of them. And there's um, yeah, always a seeker, wondering what's going on. I had cancer when I was 18. I had Hodgkin's disease. I was played high school and football. I was gonna go to college, do all that. Scouts were looking at me, and then I got this disease. They said I had. The doctor said I had this Hodgkin's disease. So I got chemo for 6 months, and then I was fine. What's interesting about that experience, though, is there was two doctors there. The one cancer doctor, he would say, "Okay, Rob, what I want you to do is visualize Pac-Man eating the cancer." He was like big into like visualization and seeing like self-image, like how you saw yourself, like you
Uh-huh.
see yourself as whole and complete. And how he's like, "You're healthy, you're fine, you're gonna be."
Yeah.
Like he used that. And then there was this other doctor who wasn't doing that. There was another girl. She was around 17. I was like just turned 18, and she had the same disease I had, but she had the other doctor. I'd always see her in the waiting room. I'll never forget this. And she didn't make it, man. She didn't freaking make it. And I did. And I was looking at this doctor's his record for people recovering and stuff, and it was a lot higher than a lot of these other doctors. He was out of Long Island, Sloan Kettering, but because he used the visualization and picturing yourself as whole in the Pac-Man. And I
Yeah,
don't
there
know,
might
man.
be
I
a
swear
science
that
to all that.
I swear that had it like it's almost like the mind's like healing itself. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and by your thoughts and like your attitude towards it, or or your self-image, like what you're seeing yourself as. And that kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Like I think that was my first introduction to like, wait a second, there's more going. Like, so I started questioning, like, there's more going on here. Like, what's really happening?
Hmm.
And I would look in people's eyes and stuff, and a lot of them seemed like they weren't happy or stressed out, and like they didn't want to be doing their jobs or whatever it is they were doing. I'm like, life's supposed to be fun, man. Like, what is going on? Like, I always like intuitively I knew like we're supposed to have fun, like joyful. Like, what's going on? Like I felt like an alien. Like, am I like how did I get in this body? Like, what am I doing here, man? Like, something's going wrong.
A
And
lot of
it,
that is economic fallout. This is
yeah,
the rat race mentality.
yeah, that's what it is exactly. People get involved in that, and so I don't know. Then I just started questioning things, and I was like, I saw this book by Rhonda Byrne called The Secret, where you could manifest. And I was like, wait a second. I always thought I was the victim, like everything's happening to me. So then I was like, what do you mean? So you're saying like if I just think certain things, then I can create my reality, So if I never have a contrary thought, like if I want to be a billionaire, I could be a billionaire, I could have that house on the beach, or I could drive that Maserati, or whatever it is. Like my thoughts would actually become my reality as long as I didn't have a contrary thought. That's what they were talking about in this book, The Secret. And it was later a movie. And so that
Hey, I did
interested
see
me.
that movie actually in like 2008 or something.
Yeah, yeah. It became like a worldwide phenomenon thing.
Yeah.
Um, but then after a while, I was like, man, I ain't manifesting. I don't have my million, my billion, my car. But what I did take away from that is I became more aware of my thoughts, and I started questioning things. I guess prior to that, I wasn't really questioning anything. I was just kind of like
Hmm.
going along with everybody else. You know what I mean? Like whatever anybody told me, I just would believe. But now I was like getting to the point where I was feeling like I was more empowered, and it felt good, man. It felt really good to feel like empowered instead of feeling like the victim. I hated feeling like the victim. So that book helped me be more like empowered. And then she came out with this her later book called The Greatest Secret. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
No, but the pattern reminds me of Robert Neville. Do you know him? Or
Oh
sorry,
yeah,
Neville Goddard. That's him.
yeah, yeah,
He,
because he talks a
yeah,
lot about that, right? Yeah,
he would talk about manifesting because he had a life experience that mirrored that. But then he would say the ultimate. He had a fun term for it, but for self-realization, um, if I Google it real quick, I'll pull it up.
yeah,
But
go ahead.
Yeah, just his because he would say, yeah, you just change the way you feel and it changes the way reality manifests. But the ultimate is not about manifestation. It's realizing that you are this God consciousness.
Love
And
that.
so, I think it's an inevitable realization.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. But yeah, and then she came out with The Greatest Secret. That book was all about realizing your true nature,
Yeah.
Yeah. What am I really? And they had like a lot of non-dual speakers in there, like Muji was in, you know who Muji is?
Yeah,
He's
I
a
met him.
you met Muji?
I resonate hard with Papa G.
Yeah,
So
Papa G. Yeah. I resonate a lot with Muji. And then Rupert, some of his stuff, Rupert Spira, some of his stuff was in there. And Sailor Bob, I like some of Sailor Bob. Like What's Wrong with Right Now, unless you think about it. I really like that. I know that really spoke to me. Like what's really wrong with right now until I go to the mind and I start thinking about it. That's when all the problems happen. So that was a really good pointer for me. But the ultimate one was David Bingham was on there. He was one of the featured speakers, and he said, "You are the infinite being having a human experience." And then Rhonda Byrne, who was the author of the book, she said in The Greatest Secret how she learned her true nature was through David Bingham. So I Googled him on YouTube and I put it in there. And then he had these videos on a channel called Conscious TV. I don't know if you've ever heard that one.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I love their
Conscious.
interviews with Greg Good.
Yeah, that's a
I
good one.
discovered through there.
Yeah.
He's
So
amazing.
David was on that channel and he was there on a panel with a few other non-dual people and they were having it. And I don't know, something resonated with the way he was talking. And so I sent him an email and was telling him basically what I was describing to him is like prior to consciousness, how I'm the light of consciousness and everything's happening within me. And, I clearly see that you're the infinite being that I am, that everyone is that one infinite being. And we did a few emails and then he used that term self-realized. He's like, oh, this is non-duality, what you're describing. Sounds like you're self-realized. And he's like, hey, I just did an interview with Nothing Media, which is over where Emerson is, like all those guys. And so Luciano, he's like, she'll do it. She wants to do an interview. I just did an interview with her and was telling her about you. I was like, okay, cool. I'll do an interview. So I did an interview with her. This was like, I don't know, 4 years ago. I did it. And, we were talking about like, my story, kind of like how I'm talking with you. And I was telling her, everything that happened. And we talked a little bit about, Tony Parsons and, who Tony Parsons is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, some of his
Jim Needham.
stuff. Yeah. And that was good. It was a good conversation. And from that conversation, people started contacting me, asking about non-duality, self-realization. And all I was doing was just sharing, just like I am with you, just sharing my, experience and, what my direct experience is and what's been happening. And some people, were getting clarity from it. It's like, okay, cool. So then I just started doing a channel on YouTube, and then I just started interviewing people. And next thing you know, it's just taken off. So I did a few. I've done a few books, and then I've got this YouTube channel going. So that's where I'm at right now. This is just what's happening. After it's not like I'm trying to do anything or I have any agenda. It's just I don't know. It's just flowing through, man. I'm just having fun with it.
I might have heard this term from Greg Good, or maybe it's from Atmananda before him, but post enlightenment sadhana. Sadhana means practice.
Okay.
So it's like your post enlightenment lifestyle. Well, that's why I was attracted to your channel because, okay, let's say we get it. Well, life goes on,
Yeah.
so let's navigate that now.
Right. So it's almost like yeah, what's life like now after self-realization? That's what I've been trying to get a lot of these people I'm interviewing to speak to that. It's almost like, okay, you're awake now, you realize your true nature, but I mean, the body's still here, the life experience is still going on, you're still going to work, you're still having relationships, you're still playing the role of dad or whatever in this world. It's like the body didn't drop yet, the human experience is still here, so now what? And that's kind of like where I take off from there, just navigating the everyday life. And it's not that, I mean, life still happens. It's just that, I don't know, it's just kind of lighter now, man. It's almost like, it's like, like what's up. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like,
It's just that the less of that compression that's going on, it feels light and free. And they say it always was that because the heaviness was coming so freely that you know what I mean? It was just part of
yeah,
that flow of time's river.
yeah, it's exactly what it is. So it's more lighter now. It's more playful, I would say. Because it's like you can see
Good.
through it. And it's
More
like,
effective and fun.
now think about it. When you have the character and he's a little more free and he realizes, there's nothing serious going on. Like, there's a freedom in that, man. There's a kind of a peace knowing that you're
The
not
show.
ultimately hurt by
There's a greater
anticipation.
intelligence, bro. When you're locked in, like you're dumber for sure. You'd be thinking about like a small section of data.
Yeah. It's funny because now I don't know why I've been attracted to these Abraham Hicks cruises. It's just kind of fun, just like the people there. I don't know, I like the vibe and the energy. Like they're all like,
Hmm.
I am creator, like consciousness, and they just want on that vibration of like, oh, that fun
Like we can
frequency.
do it. Like whatever we want to do, we
Yeah,
can do
let's
it.
go.
That's
Let's have fun.
empowering. Why not?
I love it. So imagine being on a cruise with all them. That's pretty cool. Actually, I'm going on another one out of Amsterdam. I leave in July 1st, and I'm going to be getting on another cruise ship there with a few other people I had on my channel. We're all going to meet up there
Cool.
and go on a cruise. It goes to Amsterdam, then it goes to Berlin, Germany, Estonia, Sweden. It ends in like Copenhagen and Denmark, but it should be a good time. Should be pretty fun.
Undoubtedly.
I get in the most interesting
Indubitably.
conversations like I have with you. Like I'll be on the cruise ship and we get in these conversations. I just love it.
Hmm.
And then people like, awakening and, it's
Tell me
just
about
cool.
your books.
What's that?
You got a bunch of books in the pipeline.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you go on Amazon, just put my name in Robert Rugg, RUGG, you'll see if you
Oh,
do it right now.
Rug.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know everybody say a couple of speakers saying rug, but it's rug.
Well, it
You
looks
should have
like
saw high
rug.
school. High school was brutal. It was like swept under the rug, carpet
Oh,
fresh. I heard them all, bro. I just roll with it. I'm like, whatever. But yeah, I got
oh,
a couple.
yeah. As a poet, you can twist anything into anything. So
Yeah, don't matter. But now it's just been fun to put, writing the books. Just been kind of coming through, and now I'm doing some books with some other people now too, like writing them together and stuff like that. So it's fun just doing it with other people and things like that.
for
So
sure, like we're here. Like why did God create infinity to collaborate and play? Like it's a multiplayer game.
yeah,
If it's a game at all, might just be a
yeah,
movie. I don't know.
could just be a movie. I almost feel like it's a movie, you know. But yeah, my first book I came out with was Awakening to Effortless Being. That's the one that really resonated with me, and that's where I told the story that I just told here, and my awakening and stuff like that. And then I got into other books like The Infinite Being is another one that I put on there. And then I've just been doing some with some other people. I just came out with a new one, Effortless Abundance. Because a lot of people have been calling me like, okay, well, after you self-realize, like, how do you pay your bills? Like, like life still goes on, you know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of it's like a frequency game. It really is. It's a frequency game. It's energy. It's all energy. And the limited beliefs, like letting go of some of these limited beliefs that a lot of people have. Like a lot of people were raised that, I have to work hard to get money, you know what I mean? Or I don't deserve money, or, I'm not valuable. Like my presence alone is not valuable. So it's almost like eliminating those beliefs and, realizing what you truly are, that your presence is power. Your presence is the value, you know, and that you can be, do, and have anything you want, you know, and empowering people that way to realize that and having them seeing the 3D world reflect that inner knowingness of what you truly are and how it all can just happen effortlessly, that you don't have to work hard to make a living or listen to the narratives that the world's going to try to tell you. I mean, just looking at the school system alone, like my kids going there, I just look at it and I'm like, it's almost like they're training them to be like,
Yep.
workers. So, what I'm talking about? Like you're training them to be workers and
Well,
limitations. And
that might be like a intentional design of it, but it might just
yeah,
be fallout from like a lack of proper care to what do you call them, syllabuses and stuff
yeah,
like that.
could be that
Like they
too.
don't train people in like it should be a necessity. Like everyone should know how plumbing works. Like because you
Yeah,
live in a house with plumbing, you should know how electricity works because you got a breaker somewhere around you, right?
love
Like you
that.
got light, but we don't know this shit, so we're like dumb. We're fucking like the world is
Like,
dangerous.
what the fuck is this?
Seemingly when you don't know what you're doing, you don't want to grab the wrong wire or whatever. So
Definitely don't want to grab the wrong wire. Yeah, man. Like a mechanical man, like you do not want me working on your car, bro. Like I would like totally screw it up. I would totally. If you need me to write your book, I'll help you write a book. But if you want me to do anything mechanical, I'm not your guy.
yeah,
Definitely
like
not.
automobiles, like we should all know, well,
Yeah,
that technology is changing, but like
yeah,
nowadays computing, well, there is a lot of coding going on, but like engineering, like, because the mind is so, and I really feel like it's remedial and they baby us. Like, grade school is repetitive. You learn the same shit every year, and you
I
could
know.
be, like, because I was diagnosed as a gifted child, meaning like I'm smart or whatever, but I
Cool.
just saw it as like I'm able to process information that I care about. So if I can care about it, then I'll work with it. And if I can't care about it, then I don't care. and I won't do the homework type shit.
Yeah. So what do you do now? What do you do for money?
What do I do for? We just hustle, but right now I haven't been hustling as hard as I used to.
Yeah. I mean, there's always something to do. You can always do something to make money, you know? Yeah. Being gifted, like they probably, I'm just trying to think, picture if I was growing up gifted, they probably had these expectations for you, right? Like, hey, if you're gifted, you should be like, an astronaut. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to think like
It's
what
just a
they
label. People just say you're
yeah,
smart. They want to. We're all gifted. We all have unique
yeah.
talents and gifts. You know.
That is true. And sometimes we don't even know what they are. Like this writing thing, like I had no idea. I was a jock in high school, man. Like, playing football, baseball. I was that like a sports guy. And I had no idea that I had like, the artistic talent to even write. And if to me it was always natural, but other people are like, what do you mean? Like, right. But like
Hmm.
that's like a hard thing. Like it's almost like you don't know, like you need somebody else to point it out to you. You know why? Because it's so effortless. Our talents are usually the ones that come easy and effortless, but we don't
Yeah,
realize it.
it's what
But
you're
then like a
intuitively
friend or
curious about,
yeah,
intuitively drawn to. And you usually have something going on there.
yeah, when the intuition just kind of
I think like all the like true geniuses like Da Vinci and Tesla, I don't think they were super stressed about this conjecture. I have no idea, but it
yeah.
feels like they were just in a subtle flow of their own. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like it just like flowed through, it came through, and it
Yeah.
wasn't. I never hear them like saying like it was so hard or it was just kind of like always like a lot of them I hear is just like it's just like effortless or it just became natural or easy to them or something was flowing through them. And so I don't know, I just in seeing this connection between effortless being and creativity, it's almost like when you're in that effortless being, you're in the zone. It's like I look at some of these athletes like Michael Jordan and some of these other guys Tom Brady when he
Kobe.
was playing, like, yeah, Kobe in basketball, or even the NFL football players. And some of them, the greats, you just see, man, they just got like they're in the zone. And a lot of times you'll hear
Hmm.
them in the interviews with the sportscasters after, and they talk like they're just in the flow of the game and everything's just flowing and they get in that zone. It's almost like you're in that effortless being zone. It's just like something's like flowing through you and you even forget yourself. Like that sense of a separate self just kind of drops away and it's almost like there's an energy coming through and it's just like doing it and you're there experiencing it all, which has got to be so cool for people to. I think that's the coolest thing, like experiencing that. It's just such a
I think
cool feeling.
musicians often encounter that flow state. I think I've encountered it early playing video games. Like, how do you learn no self? Yo, you get zen when you're really in it.
Oh,
You
sure.
realize like you're moving before you plan, like, and it's the right movement. So,
Yeah. Yeah. You can do it with video games, you can do it with sports, musicians, artists. I mean, they all are in this like flow state that's just coming through and happening, which is so cool.
well, the infinite is self-organizing, so it's doing that all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Thanks for talking to me, bro. I
Yeah,
know
this
I
was
came
cool,
at you
man.
like direct.
That's okay, man. It's all good. I love the spontaneity of you though. It's like cool.
Yeah.
Like I didn't plan any of this. It's just
Oh,
like
I wanted to
this
do
is
it for a long time, but like there'd be, no, I don't want to spin the story. Wrong invitation. I was gonna say maybe I was a little bit anxious. I have a lot of opportunities, and some of them I have to sit on them for a while, and when I'm ready, then it'll happen. But
yeah, that's cool, man. I'm glad it all just effortlessly came about.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right, brother. Well, I'll let you go.
Cool. Can
Thanks
we
for the
talk again
chat.
sometime? Maybe
Yeah,
like next
anytime.
month or.
Yeah, we can definitely chat again. Let me just pause this real quick.